going to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video, wherever you are, whatever you may be doing. Thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you jump on here live here on this Friday evening, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. I know that the NCAA March Madness tournament's going on, so I'm going to try to make this video short before the late games start for all of you basketball nuts that want to watch every game, because the only game right now going on is the Florida game, and I think it's going to be a complete blowout. So if you miss 5 minutes of that game, I don't think you're going to miss a whole lot. Good evening, Kevron. Glad to have you here as always. Hey there, Marcus. Glad to have you here. But tonight I want to talk about yesterday's games, and then tomorrow night we'll talk about today's games. And then by the time we get to Monday, we'll be talking about the Sweet 16, which will be next weekend. Well, Marcus, we talked about that last night. It would have been nice to get the win and continue a winning streak, but if the Hawks win 82 games in a row, but then go to the playoffs and getting beat first round, then that regular season win streak doesn't mean anything. So if you could trade a win tonight for a playoff series win, I think most Hawks fans would take that. But so far in the March Madness tournament, there's been a couple of upsets as far as, the lower seeded team winning, but a couple of them that were perceived as upsets because of the team rankings, in my personal opinion, weren't upsets. But we had one upset, and then we had one almost miraculous upset yesterday. But usually you have a year where, Final Four comes around and you have at least one or two teams that are a 3 seed or lower. But this year I'll be shocked if it comes Final Four and it's not all either ones or two, maybe 3 seed. I don't think we're going to see no 4 seed or no 6 team in the Final Four this year. But yesterday, TCU beat Ohio State 66-64. Now, Nebraska was the last of the power teams to win a March Madness game. Nebraska had never won a basketball NCAA tournament game, whether you want to call it March Madness, the tournament, whatever, until yesterday. They beat Troy 76-47. Louisville defeats South Florida 83-79. And then one of the games preceding an upset, to me it was High Point beat Wisconsin 83-82. That was a 5-12 matchup. So looking at rankings and seedings, that's an upset, but I think Wisconsin was very good. The game that we almost saw a miraculous upset was Duke defeated Siena 71-65. If memory serves, Siena was up by 12 at the half, and they had every chance in the world at the end to win the game, and they just could not make a shot. So Duke escaped with a 6-point win. Now, I know we've had a 16 beat a 1 before, but even the year that happened, Virginia didn't just get beat. They got destroyed by UMBC. But I don't think anybody thought Virginia was going to win the national championship. But most people have Duke either winning it all or getting there and losing. So to see them get beat by Siena would have been, by far the biggest upset you would see in this year's tournament. They do manage to come back and win the game. Vanderbilt beats McNeese State 78-68. Michigan State beats North Dakota State 92-67. Arkansas over Hawaii 97-78. VCU comes from, I believe, 19 points down to defeat North Carolina 82-78. There was something that happened late in that game. That is a rule, but I bet most people did not know it was a rule. So I give the referees props because they got it right. But had they not blown the whistle there and got the call right, I don't think anybody would have known that they got it wrong. So props to the officials in that game last night for getting that call right. It's something you very rarely see, but they got it right. Michigan defeated Howard 101-80. Texas A&M beat St. Mary's, California 63-50. Texas beats BYU 79-71. Hey there, Three Berry. Glad to have you back. Illinois beat Penn 105-70. And Three Berry, I go live just about every single day. I may skip a day every now and then, but for the most part, I'm live every day. But as long as you comment every day or close to every day, I will remember you commenting. But if you come on here one night and comment and then don't come back for a month or two, I'm probably going to forget. So props for coming back so soon. Appreciate it. St. Louis beats Georgia 102-77, and the game wasn't that close. St. Louis scored like 45 points in the first half of the second half, and with like 10 minutes to go in the game, St. Louis had like 85 points, and Georgia had right around 50 or 55, and St. Louis just quit. They probably could have scored 120. So now you have Georgia fans wanting to run off Mike White because, he can't win a meaningful game, which he can't. But it's like I always say in football. Football, when you go 0-12, man, I just want to win a game. Once you win a game, man, I want to win 2 games. And then once you get to 5-7, man, I want to get to 500. And then once you get to 6-6, I want to win 8 games. And once you get to eight wins, I want to win 10 games. Same way in basketball. Georgia could not sniff the tournament. Mike White comes along, and now he gets there, but he can't win a game. He falls apart in the conference tournament, falls apart in the March Madness tournament, but yet before he came, they couldn't get there. But now that they're there consistently, getting there ain't good enough. But I think Mike White's back next year. Houston beats Idaho 78-47. And Gonzaga beats Kennesaw State 73-64. That is the 16 games from yesterday. Coming up here in about 2 hours, we'll have the 16 games from today wrapped up. And hopefully we can talk about those tomorrow night here on the channel. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Today, a man with a stutter was sentenced to life. Victims are sure he won't finish his sentence. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next, Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3.